first of all, we need to understand something, and this is like really important for you guys to appreciate. Banks create money out of thin air. Okay? Money is just an illusion. So the example is, let's just say you're a depositor, and you put $1 million into a bank. Okay? And the way the bank makes money is by lending to entrepreneurs, right? So you then, as a bank, you give $1 million a loan to a restaurant entrepreneur. Okay? And this is how banks work. And you think that, okay, well, if the deposit put $1 million in the bank then loans it to the restaurant entrepreneur, then in theory, the bank should have zero in the bank, right? No, the bank now has $2 million. Okay? The banks are allowed, according to accounting, they're allowed to create money every time they issue a loan. So not only they keep that $1 million from the depositor, but they also are able to print $1 million to give to the restaurant entrepreneur. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. Do you guys want to know why this is the case? Okay, I'll tell you anyway, okay? All right. Okay. So before, what were banks? Banks were just merchants, okay? A merchant alliance. Why? Because merchants needed capital in order to trade. So they came together and they created their own bank. Okay, so they were an alliance. And so what merchants would do is basically deposit their gold into this alliance so that it can be distributed elsewhere. Okay? Now the problem with gold is that it's heavy, it's hard to transport. It's also dangerous because you're pirates, okay? So the way that they use gold in order to create exchanges, in order to create business, is they use receipts. Receipts. Or contracts. So rather than me give you the gold physically, I just give you a piece of paper saying that I guarantee that this paper can be redeemed for gold at my bank. Okay, does that make sense? All right, and then you have to keep track of these exchanges. So they create something called double entry bookkeeping, which is basically assets and liabilities. Okay, and that's double entry bookkeeping, something that we still use today. So let's just say I have $1 million in gold. Okay, well that's easy. I just put it into assets, right? Okay? Then someone comes and says, I need to borrow $1 million of gold. I'm like, fine, I'll give you a receipt for it. Now the problem, my problem is, do I put the receipt in liabilities or assets? Assets, of course, right? And that's how the system works. And so it's a system we still use today. That's why banks are allowed to create money out of thin air, because of double entry bookkeeping.